Welcome back to the Rhode Show this morning. In The Buzz, we're talking more about Michael Jackson and the memorial. This morning, Ken Ehrlich, the producer of the memorial, says that Paris Jackson's moving moment was not planned. And if you saw that, it's very easy to believe. He said that the family was going to come up and speak, but he didn't know that the kids were going to come up with them. Here's a look at it, in case you missed it.
I just wanted to say,
speak up, sweetheart, speak up.
Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
I mean, just heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
You know, the thing is, some people are saying this morning that a lot of his questionable activity was glossed over. I mean, I don't think the memorial is necessarily the place to be talking about that. But whether you're, a fan of Michael Jackson's or whether you're not, the truth is that these kids don't have their dad anymore, and it is just heartbreaking for them to have their whole life in this upheaval, and it probably will be for a long time.
A lot of people didn't realize he had kids. They knew he had kids, but they never saw
think about
well,
that.
we never heard from them. This may be the first time.
This is the first time I've ever seen them, with the
without
exception
the
of
mask and things like that, right?
And it's the first time you say, wow, he was a dad.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but some of his friends, when they spoke, you heard about him as a real person. We were talking about Brooke Shields, talking about her longtime friend, and I just wanted to share with you what she said, because it was really interesting and funny.
When he started wearing the glove, I was like, what's up with the glove? I was like, look, if you're going to hold my hand, it better be the non-gloved one, because sequins really hurt me. He would dig in. He'd just shake his head and he would just smile. He loved to be teased. Seeing him smile made you feel like everything was going to be all right.
We really didn't get a chance to know who he was as a person. And I thought one of the most interesting moments was when a commentator talked about how his death sort of crystallized him and allowed people to just remember him as he was and not think about what has happened in the last, decade or so when things got a little weird, if you will. And it's sad, I think, for a lot of people who knew him as an entertainer and valued the work he did, but didn't really know him as a person.
I think part of the reason that a lot of people didn't know who he was as a person is because he didn't know who he was as a person.
Well, he closed himself off big time. I mean, I've heard so many commentators say, he didn't have his, all he wanted was friends. He couldn't have friends because he was too famous, and his dad gave him a thing about his nose, and he had all these surgeries and stuff like that. I'm sure there's so many people that would have loved to have an opportunity to just sit down and just hang out with the guy. And he was very cautious about who he involved himself with. He ended up involving himself with the wrong people.
Well, and not only that, but it is hard. I mean, we've even heard interviews from Britney Spears who will talk about how lonely it is because when you are that famous, it is hard to find people who love you for who you are and not for what you do.
Exactly.
And so certainly, and especially, even as we were hearing people talk, a lot of them were talking about him as a star and as an icon, and I thought Brooke Shields and his daughter were really the only two people who talked about him as a human being, as a person.
Right, and I think
and not a personality.
This is clearly one of those situations where he probably didn't realize how many people he affected in a way where they were enamored of what he did and just had this love for him.
And you know what stinks? It comes out when it's too late.
Too late, exactly.
Well,
and that's the way it always happens.
I do think that there's going to be a lot more that comes out. Courtney Caligiuri, I just wanted to share with you that it turns out, and I want to share with you guys as well, the city spent about $3.5 million in trying to take care of this event. However, it brought a lot of money into the city.
No big incidents.
And no big incidents. And in addition, a lot of private donors are reimbursing the city for some of those costs. So it was a little bit of a give and take in all of that.
That's their website too, right? Didn't they? I think
they were accepting donations through the website, and it speaks volumes for a state that right now is paying its bills with IOUs. That at least they got infused with these visitors and private donors are giving some of that cost back.
Yeah, it's good to hear about that. And as you know, folks online still talking about this very memorable memorial service. And here's what some of our viewers are saying right now on FoxProvidence.com. And this one
is from one artist, and she says regarding the Jackson Memorial, she was glad it was pretty subdued. She favored Jennifer Hudson's performance. And then we also have another one from a guest who says they watched the whole thing and didn't cry until Paris spoke, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of us can agree with her as well. And Mickey says it's the kids he feels bad for, and we have a poll here on foxprovidence.com, and we're asking all of you, what was the most moving part of the Michael Jackson Memorial Service? And your choices are A, the message of racial barrier breakthroughs, or the music, the tributes by Michael's friends, or hearing memories from Michael's family. And we also have the same question on Facebook here, and some of our fans said, Lori said the most moving part was when his brother Jermaine sang Smile. I did enjoy that performance as well. It seemed to be Michael's favorite song there. If you guys want to weigh in anyway, you can come on the live blog or hop on Facebook and we'll hear what you have to say. But I'll be back at the end of the show to share what all of you said. But for now, let's head back out to the backyard barbecue. Lily, what's happening?